VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news, we analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence.
Good morning and welcome to VOP This Morning. It's a Wednesday edition of the program, and a lot has happened. A lot happened yesterday in Nigeria. We'll be touching on some of the happenings. One of them is the assassination allegation against Peter Obi. There was an assassination attempt against Peter Obi. Well, this is how we frame it. Governor Monday Okpebholo blamed as Peter Obi, Odighi Oyegu and other ADC chieftains escaped gunshots, hoodlums attack in Edo State. That, of course, is a major conversation this morning. And also, federal government issues denial as intel sources claim Nigeria paid Boko Haram $2 billion ransom for kidnapped pupils. And then IGP Egbetokun resigns amid probe of 100 million naira mistakenly transferred to his son's account by Anambra Security Fund. Federal government insists that he resigned. Well, some Nigerians are saying that he was sacked, but the federal government is saying that he resigned. He was asked to resign. That's the story out there in the dailies. And yes, of course, so these are the conversations we'll be touching on this morning. I'm Moses Humphrey.
I'm Chukwuma Okoro. Good morning and thanks for joining us. Now, those are the major topics of discussion, but we also have other interesting stories that we are going to weigh in on in the course of this show. Now let's get into it. A video has emerged showing residents of the Omuala community in Eche local government area, Rivers State, jubilating over seeing light for the first time in 20 years. The community reportedly received power supply after being connected to the Abia State power grid by Governor Alex Oti's government. Well, the people sang praises, whispered prayers, and danced on the streets as dusty light bulbs came on to signal an end to the era of darkness in the community. Now, let's take a listen to the video, to see how the people are rejoicing.
If these people have not seen light, imagine.
That's in history.
This is Omuala community in Eche local government. Over 20 years. Can you imagine? Take a good look at them.
People are jubilating. Well, the story has it that, Eche community, in parts of Rivers State is a border town, between Rivers and Abia State. It's contiguous. And we hear that for the past 20 years, that community has not had light. Well, thanks to the magnanimity of Alex Oti, governor of Abia State, he was able to reconnect them back to the state grid, and boom, there is light in our community, and people are jubilating. The crazy and the unfortunate thing in all of this is that the community is an oil-bearing, oil-producing community. So you begin to ask questions about the corporate social responsibility of the oil companies, whether they are international oil companies or local oil companies and all of that. Why is it that a community that bears oil, that produces crude, that we use, the main source of our revenue as a nation, has been in darkness for the past 20 years? The River State government, for all the money, 13% derivation they have been receiving from the government, royalties and all of that, never bothered, never imagined that it was imperative that these people have access to light. If someone describes that as executive wickedness, will it be inappropriate? I'm not sure. The unfortunate thing again is that this community is not alone. Across the length and breadth of Nigeria, you have hundreds of communities that have been in darkness 5, 10, 15, 20 years back. And there are also communities that have never seen light for once since eternity, since creation. And we have a government in place, government telling us that, we are doing all of these things for people. How do you describe all of that? It's quite unfortunate. And by the way, at some point, we have the Rural Electrification Agency and all of that. So what has been their core mandate? What has been their core responsibility? If we have an oil-bearing, oil-producing community that's been in darkness for the past 20 years, you can imagine. And so these people, don't they have a representative in the House of Assembly?
That's the question.
Don't they have a representative at the National Assembly?
Don't they?
Both in the House of Representatives and in the Senate.
Yeah, they should. They should.
Of course, they
the
should.
Community in Nigeria, they have a local government and the rest of that, so they should have representatives. So what have their representatives been doing? 20 years is a long time.
It's a long time.
It feels like civilization is gradually just creeping in. And if you see the roads there, untarred road there, red sand, and the rest of them. So, but you were saying something about the social responsibility.
Yes, CSR.
Yeah, of the oil companies. Well, I don't think I would want to put this on the foot of the oil companies, because it's the role of government. It's not the role of oil companies to provide electricity.
No, sometimes
it's majorly the role of the government.
Sometimes so that's why I said
electricity.
That's why I said it's shared responsibility. Because I've also seen oil companies provide. Oil companies provide electricity to some communities. But there could be a downside to it.
See, when government fails in its own responsibilities, then we start to look for who else to assist the government. I'm not pointing fingers at you. I'm just saying that it's ordinarily. I mean, companies themselves spend so much to run their business and also power their business.
Okay.
So much goes into diesel, All right? And this takes a toll on what they pay workers and how they treat workers, because it's frustrating for an entrepreneur to put in money to do what government ordinarily would have done for his business, to make his business thrive and give him the opportunity to even employ a lot more people.
I understand your point, but let me also tell you that the CSR, is copiously captured in the Petroleum Industry Act.
No problem. Nobody's
But
disputing that.
there's a downside to all of these things, I'm not trying to blame the community, but when you begin to interrogate some of these things, you begin to ask questions like, sometimes the oil companies come to deliver dividends to the community, and the people say,
individuals that say,
individuals
this
okay,
should come to us, that should go
through
to
me or through us, and at some point they get into bickering.
I had this conversation with someone some days back. We were driving around a particular area, and then we were talking about how some streets have been tarred and some streets have not been tarred within the same community. It's a local government. I'm not going to mention the name, and I have been privy to speaking with someone within the caucus of the local government chairman way before now. And I learned that there was a time that particular local government chairman, when he first came into office, he wanted to fix roads, market roads and inner streets. He was eager to fix the roads, but he was stopped. Why? Because certain individuals in those streets felt like, look, if it's not coming through them, it will reduce their political influence and capital. So they said, okay, look, don't do my road. Don't fix my street. Don't fix this area. And in fact, they had to report this local government chairman to the powers that be, because I heard he came from one party into another. So they reported him and he stopped. And for a long time, roads were not fixed. And recently, some roads are now being fixed. And when I inquired further, I realized that those power brokers decided, okay, since, now that he has aligned with them, they can fix their street and they will give the contract to their own boys, so they get to, hold back their political influence. Like, look, I did this. Yes. I influenced this. And that's part of the problem.
That's part of the problem.
In Nigeria.
That's part of the problem. So, and I wonder, that's exactly where I was traveling to. Because a chair is in Rivers State, and the Rivers people, the Rivers communities are known for this kind of thing. I cited a particular instance one time, so let me repeat it. A certain IOC, International Oil Company, came to Port Harcourt. They had a job, and so they went to a location and rented an apartment for their staff, very massive apartment. But the road was not good. It wasn't well paved. It wasn't paved at all. Now, the company said, okay, to ease, transportation and all of that for our people, let us come and tar this road. They mobilized to site. You know what happened? The community came out and said, you have to settle us before you construct this road.
And you start to wonder who would use the road.
And the company said, excuse you, settle you, or you settle us for building this road. You know what? They went to the landlord, renegotiated, took their money back with some slice cut off, and went to another place and paid. And that was how that community lost that road.
I don't think we're really grasping the enormity of this disaster that has just been averted. 20 years means an entire generation who are 20-year-old currently have been raised in darkness. That's what it means.
That's what it means.
And then there was something you said. You said that the oil companies, there is an oil producing community, that the oil company should have done CSR. I think this is one of the biggest issues we are facing. As long as we keep outsourcing the responsibilities of the government. These people pay taxes. These people pay levies. I don't even think that an oil producing firm will be cited or operate in such an environment and not provide light. Maybe there are some brick walls.
That's exactly what the point we are talking about.
But now, why did it take another governor, cross-border, to just connect them to the Abia State grid and they have lights? That means it's not that they cannot do it. It means that this thing can be done, but there's just a lack of political will. That's just it.
I blame the government.
Yes.
I also blame the company because, like I said, I've read parts of the PIA, and copiously CSR is captured, corporate social responsibility. You know, in fact, there's a legal angle to it. So it is mandatory that you have to do.
It is mandatory, but
you know,
who gives light to a community?
No, I have seen oil companies provide light to communities.
So what is the government doing? What's the local government chairman doing?
No. I understand the core responsibility of government, but we shouldn't leave everything to government.
Okay, but this community is paying taxes.
And they are paying
taxes. Vote during local
government
elections.
And government is also receiving royalties.
And they vote during
so that's why I said it is shared responsibility. I'm not absorbing government.
Okay.
So it is shared between the government and the oil companies.
It will interest you to know that right here in Lagos, in fact, right where we are, there's a street right, you know, around us that haven't had power for years now. I can't be specific as to the number of years, but I know it's more than 3 years. Okay. Now, their neighbors have electricity, but that street doesn't have power, and that street has a lot of shops. So you have business people having to use generator or energy, whatever rechargeable lamp to run their business every day for more than 3 years. Of course, they pay taxes. In fact, they pay taxes to the agberos that gave them these shops. Government itself comes to collect. Those that sell by the roadside pay money daily. They pay like, I think, 500 or so daily to people that come, but they don't have power. You see, right here in Lagos.
Yeah, right here in Lagos. And that's why I said, you know, in the early time of my intervention, I said, this community is not alone.
Oh, well.
If you go around, you see that there are so many other communities. And so before we get into another topic here, you see, Nigerians take in all of these things because we take them in. I keep saying, if the people that assemble in mosques and churches on Fridays and Sundays, if half of those people, you know, troop to Alausa one day, the governor will listen to them. But we don't.
You mean the congregants?
Yes, Nigerians.
The number of people.
The number of people.
Okay. Oh, well, let's move on to another conversation. In this particular conversation, people are reacting. So, angry constituents have reportedly chased away Honorable Tijani Abdulkadiri Jobe, a member of the House of Representatives representing Tofa, Dawankin Tofa, and Rimin Gado Federal Constituency during the All Progressive Congress Local Government Congress in Tofa Local Government Area of Kano State. Now, the incident occurred on Monday, February 23, 2026, at the venue of the APC Congress in Tofa Local Government Area, where party members and supporters had assembled for the exercise. There's a video we will show you, and in that video, you will see a large crowd shouting in Hausa. Can I even say this? It's Bamayi Kuma. I hope I said that right. Meaning, we are not doing again. We don't want to do this anymore. As they advance towards the federal lawmaker. Now, the visibly agitated mob chanted repeatedly while chasing him away from the gathering. Security personnel and a few supporters can be seen trying to shield him as tensions escalate. Well, members of the crowd were also heard accusing the lawmaker of being disconnected from the people and intolerant. A source who spoke to journalists said Jobe has represented the Dawankin Tofa, Rimin Gado, and Tofa federal constituency since 2007 under different political platforms, including the All Nigeria People's Party, that's ANPP, the APC, and the New Nigeria People's Party. So he's been, going from one party to another, but still winning the ticket. It's amazing the kind of politics we play here in Nigeria. Well, the source alleged that the lawmaker's electoral strategy over the years has largely depended on aligning with serving governors in the state to secure victories. Yes, that's politics, really. Well, let's watch the video, and then we'll talk more about it.
jami'an karamar hukumar tofa ne suke ta ba sa yi akan shugabancin da aka yi na local government na jam'iyya. Gashi an rasa yadda za a yi da kira ake nema a kwace shi. Ana buƙatar a kawo ɗauki, yanzu ma an tafi a kirawo jami'an tsaro. Al'umma gaba ɗaya sun nuna ba sa so. Gaskiya wannan harkar akwai tashin hankali a ciki. Wannan ba abin da za mu ce sai dai mu ce wannan jam'iyya ta mu akwai ƙalubale gaskiya. Allah ya sauya.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. The people reacting. Of course, these people are aggrieved. Since 2007, one man have been representing them, and unfortunately, they cannot feel, they haven't felt the dividends of democracy. They haven't felt the presence of this individual. And I think the people should go beyond, protesting like this. It's majorly using your votes. I mean, if you feel like this person has not represented you well enough, regardless of the party he aligns with, go out there and vote. And you see, if you start to say, because I know that's what somebody out there is saying right now, that regardless whether they vote or not, these people will enter because they will rig elections and all of that. Now, if we continue to sound like that, we'll continue to sit back at home and give give these politicians the opportunity to push us aside and impose themselves on us. And I'm talking about Nigerians at large. We'll continue to give them the opportunity. So go out there, make good use of your vote. Vote. Don't accept stipends. Don't accept handouts. Don't accept bribe. Don't sell your vote. Make your vote count. And that way, you can hold whoever you elect responsible. And I'm pretty sure if the person that emerges wherever knows that the people voted for him or her, then the person would be accountable to the people and give the people dividends of democracy. I would say this is a good move, and I hope it's not politically motivated too. I hope it's not, because it could be funny.
Because in Nigeria, the more you see, the more you look,
The less you see.
the
We could be a funny people too. I hope it's not. I hope it's actually the people themselves coming together to demand what is their right.
You see, we see these things happen from time to time. But before I get into that, Moses, I think I have to recommend you for, INEC ambassador. I like the way you promote. No, I like the way you promote. Don't sit back. Go and collect your PVC. Don't say it's not going to count and all of that. Stay and protect your vote. I like
All
the way you
Nigerians should
promote
do
it.
that.
No, but I think you serve as an ambassador, INEC ambassador, to help us promote all of this. So I recommend you to INEC. Now, that said, we see these things from once in a while, from time to time, when especially in the north and in the west. I rarely see this kind of thing in the southeast and in the south-south. I've seen in a place in Ogun State where a particular House of Reps member was chased. In fact, the man practically ran away because I think they wanted to assault him or what. And so he ran into his convoy and they ran away. It happened in the north. At some point, the convoy of General Muhammad Buhari was stoned in his homestead, Katsina State. His billboards torn down, posters and all of that. So when people feel like this, when people express, such sentiments like, look, you have been there for a very long time, and we have not received any dividends, it begins to tell you that, well, we might be making some kind of snail speed increments, in our political sophistication. People are a lot more aware. People are becoming more politically sophisticated. And they say, well, you have had your way in the past 3, 4, 5 years, but now we are not going to take that anymore from you. It is the responsibility of the citizens to take leadership into account, to hold them to account. We sent you there. The basic essence of the social contract is that we surrender our rights to you and tell you, hold it in trust, keep it in trust for us. It doesn't belong to you, it still belongs to us. So that is when we talk about the people, power, and politics. Who controls politics? It should be the people. And what do the people have? The people have that power. They give it in trust to someone to hold. And if at any time they feel, well, that you are not using that power anymore to serve their own interest, they are at liberty to take it away from you. It happens in all. there was a certain house of a legislator in Sweden at some point, so the refuse disposers didn't do their work effectively. You know what they did? The constituents went to the assembly complex and waited for him. When he came out, they dragged him to that point, where refuse was not disposed, and put his head inside and said, now you smell and feel what we are feeling. I'm not advocating for violence, but such things do happen.
There was something you said seconds ago, and you said that you realize that it rarely happens in the southeast or in the south. And here I'm wondering, why? Is it because there are diverse interests, or is it because the people are not so maybe politically galvanized?
In the southeast, I'll tell you why. In the southeast, a lot of people, very minor significance of the population, get interested in politics. Others, well, let me just do my business and move on.
Why is that
happening? Well, maybe because of the acephalous nature of the southeast. But it's a very long conversation.
Okay.
That's why we rarely see it happen in the southeast. People will just talk, and they move on.
Yeah.
All right, then. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's go to the papers now. When we come back, we'll be looking at newspaper headlines, and right after that, we'll get into the conversation. Join us again.
On Edu Dialogue, we bring you fresh ideas and conversations shaping the future of learning in Nigeria and beyond. On Edu Dialogue, we bring you fresh ideas.
Well, thank you very much for staying with us. Now to the Nigerian Tribune. The big story here, Egbetokun resigns. Tunji Disu is acting IGP. 8 DIGs may go. All right. Window headlines, FG reaffirms stand on religious freedom as U.S. panel recommends repeal of Sharia blasphemy laws in Nigeria. CBN interest rates cut signals credit. Expansion, economic growth, experts. NPR reduced by 50 basis points to 26.5%. 20 banks ready for recapitalization. Meet new minimum capital requirement, CBN governor. And then some of the headlines as well. Federal government files fresh charges against Osekome. Bayelsa Assembly clears Diri's chief of staff as deputy governor. Fire destroyed NIMET equipment at MMIA terminal, Kiyamo. Okay. And then suspected thugs attack Edo ADC Secretariat, Odigye Oyegun's residence minutes after Akpata's defection. Ex-APC national chairman links attack to threat on Obi. Edo APC denies involvement. El Rufai asked court to quash DSS charges against him. Atiku warns over his ill health, why we are yet to charge him to court. EFCC. And these are the headlines. Now, on the cover page of Nigerian Tribune, there's a picture of the new AIG. That's his Tunji Disu. And, a quick look at his profile there. Now, on health, cure of type 1 diabetes in mice developed. Interesting. Well, these are the headlines on the cover page of Nigerian Tribune.
The Daily Independent leads with why 2027 election could see Nigeria's lowest turnover ever. Condemnations trail attack on Obi, ADC Chieftains, and at the Secretariat in Benin. 20 banks meet new capital threshold, 13 in final stages, CBN. Tinubu confirms Egbetokun's exit, names Tunji Disu as IGP. Federal government rejects claims of ransom to rescue Niger school children. Tinubu's others 9 will breach PIA, impact oil gas industry, Pengasan. Call Wike to order before it's too late, Bode George tells Tinubu.
Now, let's quickly run through The Guardian with the window headlines. INEC dismisses claims of result manipulation in FCT polls. More businesses go digital as .ngc's new 15,216 entries. Pengas and false inflation yardstick insist on worsening poverty. The big story, terrorism. U.S. escalates pressure on Nigeria as AFRICOM firms up hub in Ghana. Quite interesting. Most stories from The Guardian. ADC, Accord, others know the registration fate. March 24. FG drags to ECOWAS court over tax law alterations. Armed talks attack Obi, Oyegu, ADC members in Edo. Dangote refinery to supply 65 million liters of PMS daily. Good news. This steps in as 23rd IGP reignites tenure controversy, mass exit of senior officers. And a bottom strip headline. CBN rules out extending recapitalization deadline, lowers interest rate by 0.5%. And that's it from The Guardian newspaper.
And that's how far we can go on newspaper headlines. We'll get deeper on newspaper review much later in the day. Now let's look at our very first conversation for this morning. Governor Monday Okwebolo blamed as Peter Obi, Odigi Oyegu, and other ADC chieftains escaped gunshot attacks, hoodlums attack in Edo State. Let's talk about this when we come back. Stay with us.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpehon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not playing at all, please discuss.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Good evening, Africa. My name is Bamakore, actor, model, producer, and I'm giving a big shout out to VOP TV, man. Keep watching. Don't change the dial. Thank you and God bless you.
My name is AY, and of course, I represent the voice of the people, and that's why I'm on VOP. AY say so.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Miriam Tima from the Real Housewives of Lagos and the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Africa. Shout out to VOP, the voice of the people. You already know. Stay tuned, keep watching. And don't forget, VOP is the best.
All right, hello, it's a brother shagging the man fine back with Melanie Poppy Blast Skin Boy. This is VOP TV. If you're not watching VOP, I don't know where you're watching. Maybe you're watching your weight.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Wale Ojo, and you're watching VOP, Voice of the People.
Hi guys, you already know who it is. This is New Energy. Flyers wherever live. Keep watching VOP TV. Thank you.
Hi, people. Ginny Albano here. Guys, please keep watching Voice of the People.
In a world where power shifts its every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence.
Well, thank you very much for staying with us. Now let's get into the conversation. A political gathering in Benin City, Edo State, on Tuesday turned violent after armed men attacked a rally attended by former presidential candidate Peter Obi. The incident happened during the official defection of Olumide Akpata into the African Democratic Congress ADC. Supporters and party leaders were reportedly forced to flee for safety as gunshots rang out. The national coordinator of the Obedient Movement, Yunusa Tanko, raised the alarm shortly after the attack. He described the incident as a direct threat to the lives of Obi and other political leaders present at the event. In a statement titled Breaking Red Alert in Benin, Edo State, Tanko said, Peter Obi and the leadership of the ADC are under siege and attack in Benin, Edo State. At the formal declaration of Olumide Akpata into the African Democratic Congress, armed individuals followed us from the ADC Secretariat to the residence of Chief John Odigio Yegun. They shot at the gate and destroyed several vehicles in what appears to be a survived assassination attempt on our lives. Democracy is in danger. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the aftermath of the mayhem that occurred at the ADC event in Benin City yesterday.
Was decanted to the ADC, and Peter Obi was here live and direct to witness it. Just few minutes after the event took place,
The APC sent their thugs. They came in numbers with a Sienna unbranded vehicle, with pop pressure. They were shooting. They destroyed vehicles. They destroyed this woman's vehicle. Look how they scattered everywhere. This is a woman who sends up to the secretariat. Look at that things that were destroyed. Is this the kind of state Modo Pueblo wants to present over? Look at this water destruction. They said the woman was shot on the neck. The woman has been rushed to the hospital. They shot the woman on the neck. Many people were beaten and were injured. Look at our DJ, the DJ who covered the event. You can see all his vehicles have been destroyed. They stole the laptop of the DJ. They scattered his phone and his laptop was stolen. And look at that, they were scattered everywhere. See, destroyed bottles. They came with guns. They said all of them were having pop pressure on their house and they were shooting sporadically.
Of Chief Oregun, the former governor, and these hoodlums came, started shooting.
Former governor of this state, and you can see what happened in front of his house, where hoodlums came shooting. You can look at his gate and everything.
Let's see the bullet holes.
Let's see the bullet marks at his gate. You see the several cars damaged and everything. That is where our democracy has reached.
You just come in. Some hoodlums stop scared.
What are they fear? They say they get 31
Esther. This state youth leaders car. This is what they did to it.
All right, there you have it. That's the scene of where that meeting was taking place before they were attacked. And you could see chairs destroyed, the DJ equipment, vehicles also destroyed. And Peter Obi spoke to the press there, talking about what happened on that day, yesterday, actually. Well, there is another video. As we get into this conversation, we just might have to remind you of a video showing the Governor Monday Okwebolo, making a statement. I think that was in July 2025, where he said, look, if Peter Obi comes to the state without informing me, his security will not be guaranteed. Well, let's take that video and then get into this conversation.
Say no Gashishi. I am sending a direct message to him. There is a new sheriff in town. He cannot come to Edo without telling me, because his security will never be guaranteed. Whatever happens to him when he's in Edo State, he will take it. I am serious about it. He came the other day and donated 15 million. Somebody was saying, no, guys, she will get 15 million to donate to people.
All right, there you have it. That's a reminder for you there. But we have Ms. Darlington Akobwo, a lawyer and a public affairs commentator, with us to make sense of this. Thank you very much for joining the conversation. Now, we are also being joined virtually by Honorable Shedrack Udubai, ADC Media Committee Officer and Special Advisor on Youth to former Governor Godwin Obaseki. Yeah. Well, if we have Udubai with us quickly, let's come to you now. Let's first off ensure that we have your audio feed. Good morning to you.
Yes, sir. I've been here.
Good to have you. Good to have you. Now, I expect that you were present at the scene of the incident yesterday. Can you give us first-hand information as to what happened?
Yes, it was a very, very fun-filled event. We had the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, H.E. Peter Obi, who was present at the ADC Secretariat in Ogbilaka, where we received Olumide Akpata and his running mates, who were fully on ground, together with lots of chieftains of the Labour Party tested and in the last gubernatorial elections. And while the occasion was going on, they were hearing rumors that to a large extent hoodlums were coming, that the APC are restlessly mobilizing in one of the facilities close to the venue, that we should hurry up and leave. It was just a few. I was a MC of the event. I co-MC the event together with Christopher Jekeri. We were asked to hurry up. So, and I was wondering what kind of security report is this? We concluded the event, and Olumide was overwhelmingly welcomed into the party, and we left the state secretariat to move to the private residence of John Odige Oyegun, whose residence is just a stone throw from government house, so that we could discuss and engage as stakeholders of the ADC to discuss other sensitive matters to the growth and development of the party and full harmonization of the Labour Party members who are joining the party. Just while we were there, few minutes after you spent in the residence of John Odige Oyegun, information came in that there were people who came in a branded, in an unnumbered vehicle at the state secretariat in Ogbilaka, where we just left, because we had canopies outside. We had lots of party members who were there. While we left, they were still singing and dancing and celebrating that the ADC is growing in leaps and bounds. And then they said they had gone there, they had beaten many of them to a pulp. Many of them had been shot. They were shooting sporadically. Every single person who was wearing the ADC cap on that street was beaten. When I got the information, preliminary person were scared. They didn't want to leave. I eventually got one of the escorts. We drove in a vehicle and went to the state secretariat almost immediately. Oh God, there we saw that everybody had dispersed, people had scampered out for their lives. A few persons were in the clinic receiving treatment. There was a young man whose head was broken on 2 places with a bottle by these APC thugs because they were shooting, and the woman was being rushed to the hospital. So I quickly paid for those ones. I covered the event. The video you saw there was my video where I covered the scene of the event. Just as I moved back to John Odige Oyegun's house, only to discover that those hoodlums who we had the state secretariat had moved to Odige Oyegun residence, because the aim was to ensure that they shoot Peter Obi or they shoot somebody in his convoy, to shoot one of the big leaders of the Labour Party, to ensure that blood flows, and the threat that Mondo Pebolo has delivered in time past, that the security of Peter Obi will never be guaranteed unless he gives him permission to come to the state, will fully actualize. When I got to the gate, I saw that a lot of vehicles have been shot, and then the gate was shot. Even some of the vehicles out there were being shot seriously, and the attempt was that they went to break into the residence of the John Odige Oyegun, while Peter Obi, Olumide Akpata and other chieftains were inside the building. So they resisted. They were not resisted by the DSS officers who were inside the building. Those ones could not come out. They were shooting to retaliate or to suppress the...
Yes, because I was going to ask you if you had police protection at any point in time and what their actions were.
The police were invited, but they refused to come. Are you not aware very clearly that during the last, when we had Moa, the issue of Moa, was attacked by hoodlums that was led by those state governments. Government.
Let me understand. Dubai. Let me understand a few things. Now, during this visit, did you write to the police? Did you write to the government of Edo State to provide you with, police protection because you were having a rally? Did you do that?
I just said we had DSS. We had DSS in over 3 vehicles present at that venue. We had lots of DS officers.
Okay.
We had lots of DS officers. But the police in Edo State, I dare say, works for Monday Okpebolo. The commissioner of police only sticks to Monday Okpebolo. When the people say jump, we jump. If you say not jump, he will not jump. And we start, they have been hounding the opposition members in this state. They've locked them up. They will lock the member of excuse, detain the person for over 23 weeks because Mondo Pueblo says the person should be detained. So we know that the police works very closely with the APC in Edo State to carry out all the actions and inactions of this government. They only came after the shooting if a truck would go to the state secretariat and shoot. And that place is not up to 3 minutes, there was 3 minutes. That secretariat is just opposite the street of Court, and the police state headquarters is just behind the ESC office. All these are just in one zone.
All right, Shadrach. Let me ask you a question. In the course of your intervention, you were very emphatic that, well, their main target was Peter Obi, who at that point was already inside the residence of Monday Odige Oyegun. Am I correct?
Very correct, sir.
Okay, between the time Monday Obebolo, governor of Edo State, made the threat that Obi is not welcome without permission from him, and yesterday, are you aware if Peter Obi has at any time between then and now visited Edo State?
Yes, he has, okay. But not for political engagement.
Okay, not for political engagement.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted us to be clear on that. I want
to also state clearly that just yesterday, because Mondo Pueblo is aware of the program that will be taking place today. Just yesterday, while he was commissioning the trucks, those needless, worthless trucks that he had bought with local government funds, that is gifted to the local government, he had announced that he has gotten information that it is the ADC in Edo State that has sponsored courtism in Edo State. Courtism that was being fought, Mondo Pueblo came into government, that he said they are associated in fighting. He said it's the ADC. That even though it's small, that these trailers, these tractors and bulldozer is buying, that they are not small. He will use them to destroy the properties of the ADC, the courtists who are in the ADC. Okay. He said this in give credence to what they will be doing.
All right, Shedrack. Since after this incident, have you people made a formal complaint to the police in Edo State, in Benin City?
The commissioner of police came to the scene. I saw him with my own very eyes. He was there at the scene of the incident. Police over 30 eventually trooped over to the place just after the destruction had been done. When the Upper Secretary were not there, Bonus Bofin Secretariat, it took about close to 20 minutes or 30 minutes or thereabouts before they now came to John Otigo Yegu's house. The police were still nowhere to be found. But after they have finished what they plan to do, they have wreaked havoc and they have run away. The police now quickly hurriedly came
as at this moment, are you aware if anybody has been apprehended, probably as a suspect to that incident?
There is no investigation that will be done. There is no arrest. The Nigerian security operatives know who did it. They know where it came from, and they know who are the purveyors of violence.
You see the faces of any of the perpetrators of this dastardly act? Were you able to see anybody's face there? Can you identify any of them?
They were all wearing masks, and a few of them took out their faces. But people were being beaten, who were shooting. Nobody was bold enough to take out his phone to take the faces of these persons. But we know it is a promise that Mondo Pueblo had made, promise delivered, that we will never be safe if he does not take permission from him to continue to organize. The truth is this: Mondo Pueblo, who offers clueless governance, has come to see that he has been rejected by two people. Because how can a governor who does not know what the meaning of GCF arrow and is stammering to say GSM, GAK?
Okay, let's stay with the events of yesterday. Let's stay with the events of yesterday. Thank you very, very much. We'll come back to you. Let's bring this to the studio now. We have Mr. Darlington Agumo. Now, tell us, can one dissociate this? How hard or easy would it be to dissociate this from the statement that the governor made last year, saying the security of Peter Obi would not be guaranteed if he comes to Edo State without first informing him to provide security? Is it?
There's no way you can disconnect it. It is very obvious that he made such a statement, and yesterday he carried it out.
Some would argue that maybe that statement was probably made out of emotion and may not have meant any harm.
Look, I don't think so, because under the Electoral Act, I think we have discussed this before, Section 94 provides that security should be provided for any political activities in any environment, any state, for both the ruling party and the opposition. Clearly stated, Section 94. So why is it that every time the opposition wants to do something, that is when all these things starts to happen? Why? That is when you see unknown talks. And nobody has bothered to investigate who and who is behind all this. This is not the first time now. This is not the first time opposition have held a meeting somewhere and it was disrupted with people having injury here and there and no investigation, no arrest. So when it happened yesterday, I wasn't surprised. Because Okpebolo and his paymasters have never allowed the opposition to exist. They have made it clear that they are intolerant of opposition against the provisions of the law. Because tomorrow somebody will say, it used to happen 200 years ago. Those supporting this government, I really sympathize with them because they have nothing to defend. Nothing. If just a meeting, just a gathering can be like this. Moses, imagine what will happen if the campaign start proper. They said they pursue the black sheep in the daytime before nightfall. I've always said it here. Where this APC is taking Nigeria, I just pray, like when I was doing the news analysis, that these people doesn't cause problem in Nigeria. The way these people are going about power, it is becoming unbecoming. Seriously.
Mr. Agomo, let's keep interrogating the events of yesterday. Let's try to piece together one or, logically. Now, according to Shadrach, it was after they left the ADC secretariat. Meanwhile, they had information, that hoodlums, were mobilizing to come and attack them. And they were asked to hurry up, so that they would move away from there. And they moved. So between the time they moved and the time they got to the residence of Odigie Oyegun, it was then that the hoodlums came, to the secretariat, then did what they did, and now came to John Odigie Oyegun's residence. If Shadrach, do you agree with Shadrach that Peter Obi was the main target? I mean, if he was the main target, why would they allow him, safe entrance into John Odigie Oyegun's house, and then they will come and start shooting at the gate?
When they got information that they were coming, they hurriedly rounded up their activities and ran for a separate place. That is John Odigie's house, and it's not far from where they were holding the event. Okay. That was the narrative. So they would have entered. The 3 former governors have entered, including Akpata. They were safely inside the house before these guys. Apparently, when they went to the venue, because you heard him say that they went to the venue
first.
First. Apparently, they didn't see their target. They now informed them that they have gone to the place, and they raced to that place.
You think they didn't know?
Sorry?
You think they didn't know the movement of these individuals? Do you think this was really an assassination attempt?
It was an attempt because look at it this way. They went to the venue of the event. Remember that these people rounded up their event hurriedly because they heard that they were coming with 10 unmanned vehicles. Yes. And so they rounded up just to avoid problem. They still threatened them to Yegu's house. What does that mean?
No, that's my question. I mean, if they were very particular that they wanted to take out a particular individual or individuals, wouldn't they have monitored them up from the beginning, up until the point they will have they will bring him within shooting targets and now take them out?
They were thinking they will meet them at that venue. They never knew that they are going to round up because of them.
All right then.
But the question is, why trade them again to Yegu's house?
All right then.
That is a very important
Let's bring Honorable
incident.
Pascal, I beg your pardon, Clem Agui into this conversation. Good morning to you. Well, you're Great. I was just going to ask you to unmute your device so we can get your audio feed. Now, you've been following the conversation. Some would argue that this just might be a scare. Or some would say it's actually an attempt on the lives of those individuals, which of course include Peter Obi. What are your thoughts, please?
Yeah. First of all, let me begin by saying that what happened in Edo State is unacceptable and highly condemnable. Such actions do not have a space in our democracy. This is not the first time we are having a political cycle in Nigeria. And this is not the first time we are having a ruling party and opposition parties. And we're not even yet into the thick of the election, and we're having this kind of disruptions. You see, what happened in this state is like a question of the witch crowing in the night, and the child died in the morning. The governor of Edo State warned that the P2B movement should not come to his state except for his permission. If he does that, something will happen. And P2B is a Nigerian citizen, just like me and you. He has every right to move around any part of Nigeria. He is a politician, and he has every right to visit anywhere he wants to visit in Nigeria and engage. And the state owe him a duty of protection and security of his life, wherever he went to. What happened in the state was a deliberate attempt to attack Mr. Peter Obi. I am not his fan. But when you come with armed men to disrupt an event that was being headed or headlined by him, and we were shooting, he came to the venue, he has jumped the window and ran away, going to a place of safety, and you followed him up there and went there and you started shooting and destroying things, shooting at the gate. What is your mission? If not to overwhelm, if not to hurt? Are we saying here because Obi was not killed, therefore he's not the target? Is it every time that you're a target that you got killed? Is it every time that you got injured, that you are not injured, that you're no longer the target? He moved from the secretariat where the event held, and they went to the event. He was no longer there. They beat up people that they met there to show, to satisfy their paymaster. We came there. We were there. We met. We didn't meet him, but we met people. We brutalized them, and then they followed him up to where he ran to safety, in the home of Odigwe Oyegu, where he has gone to take refuge. And there they began to shoot. There they began to destroy vehicles. If Obi was visible and still in one of those vehicles, he would have been shot, he would have been harmed, whoever killed. And that would have thrown Nigeria into a turmoil. And I think it is high time we call the political actors in this country to order. This is not democracy. This is not what Nigerians ask for. This is not how the democracy should be played. Obi is just an aspirant. He's not even a candidate. And even if he's a candidate, the state owes him duty of protection, because he's not just a politician, he is a front runner. If anything should happen to Obi, there is no way the ruling party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his gangs, will be able to disassociate themselves from whatever happened to him.
All right. Well,
so this issue of deflecting, it shouldn't even happen at all.
Okay.
They should guarantee his right. Nothing happens to him.
Let me ask you, how much of this, because when I saw this story yesterday, one thing came to mind for me, and that's the Funsho Williams incident that happened in Lagos. How much of this reminds you of that incident, and what are the measures that can be taken now to avert a disaster from happening? Because some people said if individuals like Odigwe Oyegu or Peter Obi is attacked and killed, we might not be discussing what we are discussing right now the way we are discussing it.
Yes, that is very correct. If Obi has been attacked physically, even the blood of his was taken off, was taken off. What we are discussing now should be what we are discussing, because Obi came from somewhere and he has followers across the country. Only God knows how they would have reacted. And what we must have to do is very simple. The government of the day must call their people to order. This must stop. I recall when Governor Ebele was running for governor, his convoy was attacked in Edo State by thugs allegedly sent by the incumbent governor then. He went through this whole nonsense himself. And I knew that I condemned it, because this is not politics. Politics is a game that I love so much. I like engaging in politics because I like the banter and the jojo of politics. I like the sound bites. But what I don't accept is when people now begin to think that the only way you can get to the political height is by injuring, is by killing, is by turning Nigeria into a Uganda.
Okay.
Beautiful. I don't want to see Museveni and Bobby Wine scenario playing out in Nigeria in this democracy.
Good. Clems, let me stay with you. I'd like for you to help to educate us, on the legal import of what happened between the time Okpebolo issued that threat and what happened yesterday. Is it admissible? Is there any part of our law that gives Monday Okpebolo the power to say, you don't come to my state without getting permission from me? Is it legally acceptable?
It is not legally acceptable. It is purely illegal. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria guarantees me, you, P2B, or whomever, the right of movement across Nigeria. And it guarantees that the state should protect the life. In fact, the primary duty of the state is to protect the life and properties of citizens of Nigeria, wherever it is in Nigeria. Okpebolo have no right to issue such a directive or such an instruction. And having issued such an instruction, he has put himself in the middle of this controversy, in the middle of this crisis. And there's no way. Crime does not talk. If you commit a crime today, it may take 10 years. You issued a threat directly to the life of a man because he came to your state to donate money to the vulnerable. You issued a threat that you shouldn't come to your state without your permission. Who are you? Who are you, Governor Okpebolo?
All right, this.
To decide who comes to Edo State and who doesn't come.
All right, thank you very much.
Who are you to determine who lives
Thank you very much.
And who doesn't live? You have no such power under our Constitution.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your thoughts there. Let's bring Somi Ranta into this conversation. He's a public affairs commentator and an author. Good morning to you. Welcome to the conversation.
Good morning.
Now, what do you make of this this incident that happened? Some have said that, look, this is terrible for our democracy. And in fact, in a lot of quarters, Nigerians are beginning to whisper that 2027 might be a difficult one.
You see, these politicians, they need to understand that this game they are playing will get out of hands. You see, I don't know where they got the idea that it's going to be, it must be a do or die affair. And if they're not careful, they will truncate this democracy with their greed, with their avarice, with, this, grab it all and take attitude. I heard other people saying online everywhere, recalling how the Edo State governor was threatening, just last year, how he was warning P2B not to come to his state, that if he comes to the state without informing him, whatever he gets, he takes it that way. And he cannot be saying that. I don't even know the people, how people who are not supposed to have any business in being in government, how they manage to come up. I don't know the system that throw up some certain characters, into government position, that a man will tell another man that you're not supposed to come to my state unless you take permission from me. So they act, without caring about anything, whether there's a constitution, whether there's a law, they don't care. But they must have it at the back of their mind that if anything happens to P2B or any other political opponent, they can't go scot-free. I heard you mention Funsho Williams. It was still like this before we knew. The man died right in his house. I think that was in this government place, in Ikoyi, Dolphin Estate.
Yes.
People jumped into his house, and through the manhole and snuffed the life out of him. We can't continue like this.
Mr. Ranta, I'm happy that you brought back the issue of Funsho Williams that Moses raised earlier, and the fact that, well, if anything happens to P2B, that it wouldn't just go like that. Funsho Williams is one. Bola Ige is one. You remember Dikibo, the South National Chairman of the PDP, who was killed then. I can go on.
So many.
So many of them. And in all of this, not even one person has been brought to justice. Victims just died like that, without justice. So, do you think that in Nigeria, we have the capability, that we are intentional in saying, this man killed this person, this man killed this politician, and we must get to find out who is behind all of this? I mean, I just mentioned like 3, 4, 5 cases now. And in all of those, up until this moment, nobody's been arrested. Okay, people are arrested, and sometimes you don't even know how those cases end. So what gives you the impression that this might be different if it eventually happens? Thank God, graciously, it didn't happen yesterday.
All these people you are calling, they do not have the following of a P2B. P2B is a symbol of democracy to the youth, to the teeming youth of Nigeria. The fact that these things have been occurring and recurring in the past and nothing happened does not mean that if it happens again, that everyone will take it lying low. There might be a tipping point. And I do not see any reason why. Look, this governor must be called to order.
Okay.
I know that because they said you cannot, they have immunity, they can't be tried and all that. But that does not take away the place of responsibility.
Mr. Oranta, the governor did put out a statement late last night, and I want to read a paragraph or a sentence, defending his administration. He says, it's now evident that the ADC, and by extension Peter Obi, is mischievous and making efforts to cast aspersion on the good things that my administration is doing. It only suggests that Peter Obi is synonymous with violence, and the state government will not condone such acts. What would you say to that?
Look, we don't need to go too far. That's why people have to guard their utterances. People have to guard their utterances. Whether he's involved or not, whether he knows about it or not, first and foremost, he says he's the chief security officer of the state. Secondly, this story he's saying now does not hold water.
Okay.
We're only happy that nothing happened to the man. If anything had happened, he could snowball into anything. Let them not truncate this democracy. That's what I'm saying.
Then. All right, then. Let's go back to Odubai. Odubai. Well, thank you very much for staying with us. Now, let me ask you. Are you still with us? Good. Now, the Commissioner of Information in Edo State, Kasim Afegwa, said, look, truly, let me see if I can get his exact words as published. He said, look, ADC did not, he said, if Peter Obi or the ADC had informed the governor of the visit, the state would have provided security to prevent such an incident. And he went on to say, look, what happened, that the police have been used in time past to quell internal wrangling and fighting within opposition parties, including the ADC, that this was just an internal issue within the ADC, and the government had nothing to do with it. First question, have you had issues within the ADC where the police had to come in to help you, quell the problems? And what do you make of his assertion?
The APC, they are good in line and peddling hard truths and attract lies and trying to make scenarios look as though it matches when it doesn't make sense even to the common man. What happened is that they allege that there's a faction in the ADC between Senator Roland Owe and John Odigio Oyegu. But guess what? While Peter Obi was seated on the high table for that exercise to receive Olumide Akpata, next to him was John Odigio Oyegu. After John Odigio, next to him was Professor Sarimo Subo. Another Sarimo Subo was Senator Roland Owe. And Bibi Akwebo, the man they claim is part of Oye's faction. They were all together in that meeting. They spoke as one. They exchanged
Have you had issues within the ADC where factional matters have led to the police intervening?
There is no functional matter. There is no police. I don't know where Kazim Afegwa is feeding Nigerians with those half truths and half lies. The man lies recklessly. We know Kazim Afegwa is a man for hire. What I am telling you very clearly is that if you go clearly, there are known aides of Monday Okpebholo who had come out on social media to say if ADC should gather anywhere, any opposition poster, both the person on the poster, the person posting the poster, that they will learn new thing. It's not just Monday Okpebholo. Jared Tenebe had made such statements, derogatory statements, that there is no ADC in this state, and NDC cannot gather in this state, that he to a large extent is willing to cut his neck and cut his hand to ensure that they deliver for Monday Okpebholo, inciting other followers to do the same. These people are purveyors of violence. So when you begin to make excuse for them, it's very shameful to say that there's ADC internal wrangling, that the police have come to quell. When and where? That's the question. When did they start that they're having crisis? What they're talking about is maybe in reference of structures of how they want to do local government Congress. Congress has not come. So the idea is that they want to bully the opposition to submission. They want to use violence to intimidate us. They have made this threat overtly in social media. But they probably have said it in mainstream media. The state chairman, Jared Tenebe, have made different statements in time past. But just now they are trying to now fulfill the promises they have made in an attempt that ADC will now shrink into fear and will naturally give them a run for their money, so that on the day of election we will not come out to vote. But they know if Mondo Pueblo says
all right, Shedrack, let me just ask you this. So what's next? What is ADC planning to do next?
The ADC will continue to mobilize, galvanize, and conscientize the people for meaningful, productive engagement in the forthcoming elections. We will continue to meet, we will continue to gather, we will continue to engage, and no matter the level of violence, we will continue to oppress, we will continue to resist them overwhelmingly. Their aim is to scare us, but we are not scared, we are not threatened, we are not fighting. We can't be scared of a man like Monday Okpebholo, who is an intellectual that does have the capacity to lead a
let's not attack the person of the governor. Let's be mindful of our language. But thank you very much, Shedrack Udubai. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's move on to another conversation. We'd like you to stay with us as we get into another conversation. Federal government issues denial as intel sources claim Nigeria paid Boko Haram $2 billion ransom for kidnapped pupils. Well, let's talk about this when we come back.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is Africa News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
Welcome back, and you're still watching VOP this morning. Intelligence sources have revealed to foreign press AFP that the Nigerian government paid Boko Haram militants Three sources actually told the AFP that the money was reportedly flown on a helicopter to Boko Haram's Gwoza stronghold in northeastern Borno State, a border with Cameroon, and delivered to Ali Ngolde, a militant commander in the area. Due to lack of communications cover in the remote area, Ngulde had to cross into Cameroon to confirm delivery of the ransom before the first group of 100 children were released. Federal government officials have denied any ransom was paid to the armed gang that snatched close to 300 school children and staff from St. Mary's Boarding School in Papari in central Niger State on November 21. At least 50 later managed to escape their captors. A few months ago, opposition figure and former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai had alleged that the federal government was paying ransom to bandits, an allegation the current administration promptly denied. Let's take a look. Let's listen to El-Rufai.
This government has been around for 2 years. 3 schools have been attacked. And they paid the bandits. They paid them ₦1 billion the first time the school was attacked and students abducted. They are paying bandits. They are apologizing to them. They are
find this information about ₦1 billion being paid.
Mr. Uranta, what's your take on this? What's your take on this? What do you make of all of this?
You see, Nigerians in their numbers have been asking. They were released. How did they get released? How? Was there a shootout? What happened? What transpired? You see, when government begin to act in or shroud all their actions in secrecy, it gives room for speculations. And when you cannot see any logical connection in the government argument or their position, people will begin to speculate. And over time, we have also discovered, most Nigerians have discovered, that whenever government denies something, that thing is usually the truth. It's the truth of the matter. You know, you cannot tell us that, tell Nigerians that these terrorists that came and kidnapped about 300 girls, students, that they will just release them for nothing. I mean, so we are most likely going to believe the report that happened. And when you even check, the way some government officials will be telling you, don't worry, we are in contact with them, the children are in good shape, they're okay, they'll be released, and eventually they get released. So something is fishy.
Yeah.
Something is definitely wrong in the whole arrangement.
But the report also said that the militant commander had to travel through the border to Cameroon to go and confirm the receipt of the money because there was poor network in Borno. So if a militant commander can leave the shores of Nigeria and move into another country to go and confirm this while under 247 surveillance by the Nigerian government or military, what does this say about our security architecture?
I have stated it several times here and different other fora that the Nigerian government is not serious in fighting insecurity in Nigeria. In fact, we've been told by people who ought to know that there's a collusion, that the government is complicit. And you can see it in different ways. Only recently, they were talking about, I think that's the chief of army staff or so, was talking about how they want to release some repentant, de-radicalized, rehabilitated, terrorists into the system. And then there are hundreds or thousands. So you discover that the government has not made effort. That is why I feel that these Americans that are coming, I don't know their mission, they have so much to do. Because
we've been told that they are coming to offer tactical operation support.
That will not be enough. That will not be enough.
So you want them to fight?
So as we, I wonder, how strong do you think that the network of these terrorists is? That is the strength of their network. Now, these people were kidnapped in Niger State. Now, this ringleader who purportedly collected the money is based somewhere in Borno State. Now, these children, when they were moved from Niger, when they were abducted in Niger State, were they taken all the way to Borno State? And he had to move over to Cameroon to confirm the receipt of that body because there wasn't strong network in parts of Borno where he is. That story, does it add up to you? 2 billion naira in cash?
$2 billion.
$2 billion. Yes. Yeah, $2 billion in cash. Does it add up to you? Especially when $2 billion, could it have been moved from Nigeria here, or is there an international dimension to all of it? And we have, financial units, intelligence in the CBN and all of that, even in the military and NFIU. How strong is this network, the network of these terrorists, in terms of coordination and cohesion?
They have a very strong network. That you should know now. They have a strong network. People that, look at the kind of things they've been doing, well coordinated. In fact, in some certain cases, even our military men have said that this will have superior firepower over and above them. They have said it. They have gone to acquire drones. They are well coordinated. So they don't even need to move the victims, those the students, to any other state. They could be in Niger State
and be coordinating from Borno and outside.
The ringleader could be everywhere. They travel around and look. These people are part of the system. They are part of the system. The government has not shown political will and sincerity of purpose. That is why we are having all these things. The day they decide to do that, to fight it, they will start by naming and shaming and prosecuting those who are sponsoring these guys. That's one. They will have to do away with this useless, obnoxious policy of de-radicalization and reintegration. How can you even think of de-radicalizing people who ideologically have believed in killing people? And then the people they have killed, they maimed, raped, destroyed their lives, those that were able to escape are in the IDP camps, and their homes, their villages are occupied by these terrorists, change names and all that. What are you talking about? It looks like it's child's play. So I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of it, which I don't know. But like I told you, I'm basing my argument on the fact that on several instances, the authorities in Nigeria have, debunked issues, denied different things, only to come around to tell us that those things were actually the truth.
All right, then.
If it has happened 1, 2, 3 times, 4 times, do you need to also be arguing over it? You just know that, okay, this is the pattern. So we are following the trend.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Soni Ranta. Now, Mr. Aguyi, thank you very much for staying with us into this conversation. Now, it becomes difficult to believe the Nigerian government, to say, okay, no, they haven't paid ransom and all of that, because I'm sure we've had this conversation before, and a lot of Nigerians have also chimed in on this line of conversation that how is it that you rescue 100, 200, 300, in some cases, kidnapped victims without any casualty, and then you say there wasn't some sort of negotiation that took place? And would these kidnappers or terrorists, yes, I think that's a more appropriate term to use, would these terrorists let go of those that they took hostage without benefiting? Mind you, when they go on this attack to kidnap people, they kill some people in the process, maybe 2, 3, 5, in some cases more. Would they just let go of the ones that they kidnapped without getting something? We also hear that this deal also involved the release of 2 Boko Haram commanders. What do you make of it all?
Let me begin by saying that the Nigerian government has shown that it cannot be trusted by the citizens. So no matter whatever they try to explain to the citizens, it doesn't rub in, because the citizens of Nigeria do not trust the government. The government have broken trust, and the people have no confidence in the government. Now, you ask yourself a question. The Boko Haram or the bandits kidnapped hundreds of children. What were their motives in making the kidnap? The motive of that kidnap was either to overwhelm the government and create a sense of insecurity, or to make profit out of it. They spent time, money, and logistics in carrying out that operation. And do you think, after being a charity organization, that will finish the kidnap and then release those children free without ransom being paid? And I don't even understand why the government is trying to say we don't pay. The government have been paying ransom to these kidnappers. Even El-Rufai, as a governor, admitted that he paid ransom to the kidnappers because it was a federal government policy under the National Security Advisor to pay these kidnappers, that he wanted to fight them. He has to pay them so that they should stop killing his people. And many governors in the north has been seen taking selfies with these bandits. Many governors and local government executives in the north has been seen negotiating with these bandits, with the bandits fully armed. Do they come for these negotiations and go back with their arms without money exchanging hand? Is it possible? It is not. Coming to talk about $2 billion, that might look like a lot of money to anybody that hears it. But then again, a desperate government can do anything, especially when the government is held hostage by people that are even inside that benefit from that. Why would Nigerian government spend $9 million on consultants when they should just put things right in Nigeria and you're paying people to go and lobby them in Washington? Was this not this APC government when they were coming in that claimed that $54 billion was missing from NNPC unremitted? $54 billion missing from NNPC without being unremitted. It's not the same government that is borrowing money all over the world without accounting for how that money is being borrowed. Is that money being used in paying ransom? Because what we see on the ground does not match up to the money that is being borrowed. When government wants to move money in that form, they do that in cash. They have access to the cash. CIA in America transported billions, over hundreds of billions of dollars to Iran under Obama. Cash loaded in C-130 and cargo planes to them to be able to see if they can secure a nuclear agreement. So this issue of paying them $2 billion, it may not be $2 billion, it may be $1 billion, it may be some millions of dollars. Did the government pay ransom in exchange for those children? Yes, they did. The denial is not the issue. I do not equally expect them to come and admit that they paid so that they will look good. Most governments do things and deny them. But later on, when the files are declassified, you will see the truth. The government, through the National Security Advisor, have a lot of access to money, which they use in a way, one way or the other, to solve security problems. The only problem here is that insecurity, banditry in Nigeria has become an industry whereby the state is being siphoned, whereby money belonging to the state is being mismanaged and misused for the purpose of what Nigeria does not approve of. The only thing we owe these bandits is to send them back to their creators, not rehabilitation. Because this is a government that is jailing and putting to prison people that are doing picking pockets. But then bandits that are maiming, sodomizing, raping, killing people, we are rehabilitating them.
All right.
Something is wrong with us.
All right. There's a Nigerian law that prohibits payment of ransom. We know that's on paper. And also there's a terrorist, anti-terrorist law that also talks against swapping, terrorist persons. So what do you think about this? Because it appears as though the government is circumventing this law. So from a law perspective, what do you have to say to this?
Nigerian government has been a very serious lawbreaker. What law does this government respect, except the one that is covenant to them? The government of Nigeria should be in prison if we were a civilized country. This government should be service just a long jail sentence for breaking almost all aspects of Nigerian laws. They make laws, they don't even respect their own laws. And unfortunately for us, we have a judiciary that always will uphold whatever action taken by the executive government, because every aspect of the government has been captured.
All right then.
Of the House of Representatives.
All right then.
And he said, and I quote, okay, we have captured Anambra, we have captured Imo State, we have captured Enugu State, we have captured the Ebonyi State. It remains Abia for us to capture. The word capture, that shows you they have captured the executive, they have captured the legislative. So this government does not obey any law at all, except when it's convenient to them. And it's very shameful to me as a Nigerian that it takes America is coming, Trump is coming, for the government to even begin to act as if they are trying to fight banditry and insurgency. The government has already surrendered themselves to these bandits and insurgency. The country is lawless, the country is upside down. That is why somebody like Peter Obi, we know is a very peaceful man, will be violently attacked by thugs, apparently by the other political drivers. And that is wrong. Everything
thank you very much,
happening
Honorable Clem Agui. Thank you for your summation there. Quite well. Let's bring this back to the studio as we coast over this conversation. Mr. Uranta, let me reiterate what my colleague just said. The Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022 states clearly, don't negotiate with terrorists. No ransom should be paid. But we see crowdfunding. We see Nigerians engaging in crowdfunding. We see the government, tell you that the reason they attack these terrorists, the reason they get victims out without you hearing of casualty figures and the rest of them is because they are avoiding collateral damage. Is that a justification for what has been perceived as negotiating with terrorists and, in more cases than not, payment of ransom? Collateral damage.
That is total hogwash. There's nothing. They cannot tell anybody, even themselves, they can't even convince themselves that they are not paying. They are paying. They are paying. It's either they are paying or they are paying the money to themselves, or maybe they are part of the whole racket.
So you're not sure, really? It's either they are paying to... You're not certain?
How can I be certain?
Okay.
I'm not certain. But I know that something is happening behind the scene that makes it possible for somebody who will go risk his life to adopt. By the way, how do you even take 200, 300 people, students? How do you manage to take them away? Is it buses you use or train? What? How do you do it?
Well, from interrogations and observation, it's been like the header style, where they take some of them on bikes and then the rest walk.
And what are the security forces doing? Where are they? They will suddenly go on vacation. See, it's either the people who are supposed to be in charge of this whole security are part of the whole racket, right from the top. So that let's just do this thing and then we'll share the money.
All right.
Maybe that's what's happening. Because I do not see how they will take 300 people and traverse. Where will they keep them? How do they feed? I mean, we look at the whole thing surrounding it. You know that there is so much more involved in it than all these flimsy denials and debunking here and there.
All right then. Well, let's move on to another conversation. Former IGP Kayode Egbetokun resigns amid probe of 100 million naira mistakenly transferred to his son's account by Anambra Security Fund. Well, let's talk about this when we come back from this break. Stay with us.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
On Edge Dialogue, we bring you fresh ideas and conversations.
President Bola Tinubu has accepted the resignation of Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun following his submission of his letter citing pressing family considerations. Now, in his place, the president has approved the appointment of Assistant Inspector General of Police Tunji Disu to serve as acting IGP with immediate effect. Well, some Nigerians have pointed out that the new appointee is only 48 days away from retirement. So more like, are we going back to where we came from? Well, we still have in the studio here Mr. Somi Uranta. He will help us make sense of it, and virtually by Barrister Clems. Let me stay with Somi here. Now, Somi, how will you briefly review the tenure of Kayode Egbetokun, the immediate past IG of police?
That man was not a policeman. He was a lion looking for who to devour. When he came, he said, I feel like a lion. I want to devour. But he was just puffing. Nothing happened. He couldn't handle the job. And you see, the problem with Nigeria is that when you find yourself incompetent, incapacitated, or incapable of delivering, can't you just throw in the towel? Because nobody is, checking what we do. Nobody is asking for accountability of the time and position and the money. Is that not the IGP that kept on insisting on how to arrest Nigerians or make them pay for tinted glass? How to make money? That's all he showed.
So you don't see any good thing he did while in office?
Tell me.
No, I'm asking just one thing.
His job is being done by more than half of his job is being carried on by the military. All this terrorism, all these issues, the militaries are the ones handling it. The police just stayed back. All he's doing is pursuing, going after Shore, taking him from one court to the other, and all those. Look, we need our country back.
Okay, we need our country back.
Like
we need our country back. One of the controversies that dogged Kayode was that, well, at the time he became IG, he had few days or months to leave office, and his tenure was extended. The president went to National Assembly, secured approval from National Assembly. The act was amended, and his tenure was extended. Now we have a situation where the president bypassed 8 DIGs, Deputy Inspector Generals of Police, and took an AIG, Assistant Inspector General of Police, in the person of Tunji Disu, who, by the way, we understand, will turn 60 in 48 days as acting IGP. Now, the other 8 DIGs will have to leave service because they apparently cannot be reporting to someone that is their junior.
They don't have to resign.
No, but we see these things happen. It's not
written anywhere that they must leave.
No, but they normally leave. The way our government our administration is structured.
Or they could be sent to Siberia.
Okay, so let's assume that they leave. Let's assume that they leave. What is the benefit of the president having to, just take out 8 DIGs? We see that happen in the military. We were told that in the past 10 years, we have retired prematurely over 500 generals in the Nigerian army. So what is the value of all of that?
You see, the thing is, we have a system that do not tap from, we'll just like in everything we do is that way. We send people out, we send on our mission, foreign missions, we send our troops to go do one thing or the other for no just reason. There's nothing that's coming for the country. We will train these people only to throw them away and make them look, they leave the service very, very disgruntled, dissatisfied. And instead of reaping from the training, see, a man in the US, one of his staff made a mistake that cost the company $600,000. The next day, the press came to find out how he's faring. And when they asked him, when they entered the office, they saw the man who caused that huge loss for that company on his seat, doing his job. And they burst into the man's office and said, what happened? Is that not the man who caused your company that huge loss? He said, yes, what do you want to do? I should throw him away. Somebody should hire his experience. I just spent $700,000 training him. For hours, we train and send away without reaping the benefit. Look, we are in a nation of wastages everywhere, in governance, in every system, every part of this nation. We are wasting things every day.
Now, I don't know how much
our human resource, we waste our resources, we waste everything, natural resources. everything is wastage.
I don't know how much you know of the person and personality of Tunji Disu. You know, his last appointment, he was in charge of Force CID in Alabon here in Lagos. So, are you expecting that there might be some kind of change, you know, in the governance mission of the police with regard to his personality? You know, he was in the criminal department. You know, that's his last assignment. So, do you see a situation where, well, criminals who feel that, well, there's a new sheriff in town?
You see, the system, even if he had something good in mind to do, the system will bring him down. There are fetters already on his legs and hands. I know the thing is that when these officials are appointed, these appointments are made, their loyalty goes to the man who appointed them. They do not think or have the common sense to reason it that it is the nation that employ both the one that appointed you and you that is the appointee. They don't want to bother with that. So whenever the intentions are wrong, it's like in logic. When the premises are wrong, the conclusion must be wrong. Because the thinking, the mindset is that my loyalty is to the man who appointed me. But you didn't even bother to think, you know, to take it to the logical conclusion that the man who appointed you is also an employee of the people. So all of you are responsible, are accountable to the people. That is where we always get it wrong. So the man that has come in now, Mr. Disu, I pray he brings something new to the table, but the system will bog him down.
Beyond the health issue of the immediate past Inspector General of Police, you know, because in his resignation he cited on health grounds and all of that.
So we are told.
So we are told. Yes. Now, we were not privy to the meeting he had with the president, so we are basing our judgment on what he said or what we were told that he said. Now, there's a certain controversy, you know, surrounding his exit regarding the payment of a certain 100 million naira, you know, into his son's account by Anambra State Security Agency and all of that. Do you think that, and his back and forth with Showore and all of that, do you think that the president might have felt, well, this man has embarrassed this administration enough, you know, to say, gentlemen, can you step aside? Could that be a possible explanation to his exit?
Well, if the president have to decide that this man have disgraced this administration or the nation, to no end, then he must be able to carry it out in different areas. And there are so many people that have disgraced the country, his government. There are so many around him. Let's be factual with these issues. So, but as for this man, this Egbetoku man, the lion, who was looking for who to devour, who could not devour anybody, not even the criminals, you know, or area boys on the streets, that money, 100 million, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 100 millions missed its way and entered the account.
Now we understand that the money was transferred out much later. Okay. When he got wind of it, he ordered that the money be taken out of his son's account.
Man, Sahara reporter said, in fact, we have to get Showore. I need to interview him. The guy is doing a great service to this nation. A lot of things, everything Showore has said happens that way. Showore is just like Nnamdi Kanu. Most things Nnamdi Kanu said happened that way. Everything Showore said, you think, where did he get the information? That guy is going places. He gave us the story, and they fought and fought, took him to court, to this, from one court to the other. Finally, he bowed out. So,
in essence, you would say Showore has won.
Nigeria has won. Nigeria has won. Why did that money come to my own account or my son's account?
All right, he has 48 days, you know, before we don't know if the government might, you know, circumvent the law to make sure that he stays beyond his tenure. What do you think is the most pertinent issue he might have to confront now as an IGP?
First and foremost, the law has already been amended, so he can just continue.
Continue, like his predecessor.
Yes. But the thing is that he should reform the Nigeria police. Let him not take the police as a service or a force that is focused on money making. Treat the people well. Make sure that the money gets to. Look at when the man, when they had that the IGP Egbetoku has gone, and they were jubilating. It shows that the man was self-centered, greedy, and uncaring of his people. And that's very bad. Every leader must make sure that you carry your people along. Don't chop alone. You chop alone, you die alone.
How about, the role of the police in the 2027 election is even more pertinent. How about that?
Come again.
The role of the police in the 2027 elections is also very pertinent.
Look, let's leave 2027 aside for now.
Okay.
There's so much. See, between now and next year, there's so much that will happen.
Okay.
So much that will happen that will blow our minds. Oh, let's leave 2027. All these things that do, all these games the politicians are playing, they are not gods.
Talking about the people rejoicing because Ebetokun exited the force, don't you think that if Tunji Dusu exists in the next 2 months, that some people will also rejoice?
If he behaves like his predecessor, they will rejoice if he leaves.
Okay.
But if he behave well, if he carry the people along, if he no chop alone, rub oil on everybody's mouth. Scratch my back and scratch your back.
Well, thank you very much, Somi Oranta, for your contribution there. We must also appreciate Mr. Kleb Aguyi, who is a lawyer. And also, we had Shadrach Udubai with us on the show today. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time. Now, newspaper review comes up next. I'm Moses Humphrey. See you again at 10 as we go into the papers. Bye for now.
And I'm Jane Ogoye. Please join us at 10.
I'm Chukuma Okoro. See you on top of the hour, 10 o'clock. Bye for now.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy. Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging 1-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Apelon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People celebration at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please discuss.
And it's Hakim Ziyech, who puts the
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
When I first heard VOP, I thought they were talking about me because I'm a voice-over personality. But no, this is Voice of the People TV, and you are riveted forever because this is the place to be.
You guys, your boy Chella. Shout out to VOP TV. I love you guys.
Salut, salut tout le monde. Suspect 95. Là, on est sur VOP TV. On passe un bon temps. J'espère que vous kiffez. On est au Afrima. On est ensemble. VOP TV.
Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy. VOP, you don't know somewhere from Ghana representing live and living color. Yeah, Beam Nation President. Outside with it. Bless up.
Hello, this is Milo from Ivory Coast. Keep watch Voice of the People TV. Regardez la voix du peuple, la télévision de la voix du peuple. Que Dieu vous bénisse. À très bientôt. Love you so much.
Hi guys, what's up? This is Gaze Baba. I am watching VOP TV. Usually you be told to not touch the dial, but I tell you to touch the dial and increase the volume. You're like, keep it locked. It's Afro Gospel. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shego Aronzo. You're watching VOP. Don't change the dial.
My Joe, fine girl. My Joe, fine babe.
Yes, don't touch the dial. This is me, Dr. Adiwala Iba. Keep watching VOPT.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpillon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People Television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please just sport.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise and scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand.
Well, good morning to you. Welcome to Newspaper Review. I am Moses Humphrey.
And I am Chukwuma Okoro. Thanks for joining us again.
Well, now let's dive into the headlines here. From the Guardian newspaper, these are the headlines. U.S. escalates pressure on Nigeria as Africom firms up hub in Ghana. INEC dismisses claims of result manipulation in FCT polls. More businesses go digital as .ng sees new 15,216 entries. Pengerson false inflation yardstick insists on worsening poverty. ADC accord others no deregistration fate March 2nd. Now, But the big story I would like us to start with is the resignation of the former IGP, Kayode Egbetokun, and the appointment of Tunji Disu. Well, Tinubu picks Disu for pre-2027 security boost. DIGs to retire. The writers to that story, IGP Egbetokun summoned to Villa resigns over family issues. Disu era begins as Mba 19 DIGs, AIGs face retirement. 2027 polls in sight as new IG leads Tinubu's new anti-banditry war. That's how it's published on the cover page of the Punch newspaper. And then The Guardian reports, Disu steps in as 23rd IGP, reignites tenure controversy, mass exit of senior officers. Well, these are the conversations. But let's start off with this one. We have with us Daily Fanimo, who's a reporter and a public affairs commentator, and also Mr. Darlington Agomo, who's a lawyer, also a public affairs commentator. Now, let me start off with you, Mr. Fanimo. Yeah. This is the headline.
There's nothing new.
He's 50 what now? 58 or 59? 59? He's 59. And in April, he will be 60. So Nigerians are asking, are we going to have another man who should retire, occupy the position for the next 4 years?
In the first instance, the next 1 year, 4 months. And if the president becomes the next president in 2027, it's prerogative to elongate his tenure or otherwise. But you see, there is nothing so special about removing IG and appointing another one. The only offset to what has been happening in the last 25 years or 27 years of this republic is the appointment of the outgoing IGP. You recall that most times they pick from the rank of AIGs. And because right from Tafa Balogun, Muslim Smith, and the rest of them, you find out that they always pick from the rank of the AIGs, and they regard the DIGs as Abobaku, the person that dies with the king. Abobaku means dying with the king in Yoruba language. So automatically, once it is the norm in the military and paramilitary, once your junior in rank becomes your senior, you are only advised to take a bow, because you cannot salute your junior. And seniority from either Woodil, where you have the police academy, or the NDA, where you have the military arm, is forever. So
is there a chance of losing?
There's going to be, of course, a lot of.
How long are we going to continue doing this?
Well,
those that have served, they climb the ladder, and then somebody is taken from maybe amongst them or beneath them, and then they all go, and then we lose.
It's the same thing in the military.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We lose experience. It's not as if it
is right. It has always been the culture.
No, that is the culture that we're interrogating.
Yeah, I said that is the culture, but that does not make it right. Because why I said it's not right is the amount of money you spend on officers through the years before they attain that position, like somebody who is a major general, who is a senior major general, to a chief of army staff that has just been appointed, he would have to go. But an average soldier, even at the rank of a major, Nigeria would have spent minimum of 100 million naira cumulatively training him, not to talk of a major general. So that money is gone. And they are still in their prime when they have to exit, not out of their own volition, not that they prepared for it. You imagine the current I mean, the SYL AIG Zone 2, Fayuade, was just promoted on Monday. So it's going to be DIG for just 2 days. Whereas his terminal or, his exit date should be towards September this year. Now, he's not going to even enjoy that office as a DIG. He has to leave.
I think this culture that we are talking about now, I mean, it's a culture that doesn't serve us, especially in the police and in the military. And it's what is essentially driven by politics of ethnicity. Yes. It's driven by politics of ethnicity. Because if you come to, now you begin to ask questions. If at a point, like in the present, now we have 8 DIGs, and of all of these 8 DIGs, the president doesn't find any of them fit to become IGP. So how did they get promoted to the position of DIG in terms of performance assessment and all of that? So it raises that question. If you come to the military, we also have that problem. In the past 10 years, we have over 500 generals retired because someone was promoted ahead of them and all of that. And these are people that we have spent so much money in the NDA. I don't know if NDA is tuitioned. I think it should be tuition free and all of that. But even if it is not, if you go to Jaji, if you go to Sandhurst, if you go to West Point, when we send officers there, we train them with a lot of money, hard currency. And so because we just want, somebody to become chief of army staff or chief of defense staff, we just let them go.
Push them all aside.
And we waste all of that money. When the white man was leaving, you know what they did? They said, who is the most senior army officer? Aguiyi-Ironsi. He become the chief of army staff. And the white man handed over to him. They didn't say, oh, well, because you are about to retire in the next 3 years or so, let us bring someone closer. Now, let's go to the judiciary. How do we get the Chief Justice of Nigeria? Is it not in terms of hierarchy? The most senior becomes the Chief Justice of Nigeria. So why can't we do that in the police and the military? It's all politics, driven by politics. Now, Tunji Dusi will retire mandatorily in the next 48 days when he will turn 60. He was born in 1966. So by April, he will turn 60. But there is a provision in our law that says, well, at the mercy of the president that appointed him, he will go to serve out the president's term. There's nothing anybody can do with. I don't have a problem with president choosing Dusi, but my problem is, why do we have to let
19 others?
No, 19. He's an AIG. I can excuse AIGs, But if he becomes IG, his mates as AIGs, would I have a problem reporting to him? The problem should be a DIG now reporting to someone. But I also understand that even in that categories of AIG, DIG, they also have their seniors. They also have a hierarchy in that. So 19 people have to go just like that. And we waste all of that money. Human resources also, because the experience are still valuable for us, and we lose all of that.
All right, Barrister Darlington.
Yes. When you are talking of professionalism, most of the professions where you have dedicated officers, they cherish this hierarchy because it gives them prestige. But when you now, because of politics, you bastardize it, they become disgruntled. That is, an officer is aiming to be somewhere. He has calculated the years we get to a certain position in his career. You now come to abridge it because of politics or selfish interests and all that. That officer will never be happy. That is why I heard that some of the people that planned this school, they were retired officers among them. And so when you do this, you are not looking at the far-reaching implication. You wasted manpower. You wasted the respect. You wasted resources. In the name of what? This man, I think he was promoted last January, Disu, and he has been Tinubu's boy over the years. Look at the trajectory, how he has been promoting him. And now you have landed him with this position. Now, look at it this way.
Has he been the one promoting him.
That's what I'm saying now here.
That's not what they're saying.
That's
I am coming. Look, he was his aide-de-camp. Is that not true?
Okay.
Since he came into office, he had been giving him that privilege. The same thing that...
since Tinubu came into office.
Yes. Go and check the record. This was the same thing that caused Ekpetoku his job. That he had been promoting one Kuti and all that, principal officer, this and that and all that. And these things came up. So there's no way it will not affect. Now, how about professionalism? You see why security is messing us up. Some ragtag bandits are messing our security agents up. Because of what? Look, Moses, a general in the U.S. Army, oh my God. For you to get to that height, you are a moving machine. You are a moving war machine. A general. When you are trained from that height, it will be difficult for you to lose a battle. But look at what ragtag are doing to us here.
Mr. Agomo, American generals lose battles. America loses battles.
But,
there are so many ingredients in a war, in warfare. You know?
Not in this type of
it's not only dependent on the strength of the general, there are other factors.
I am talking of experience. You know what they go through. They can read the military strategy.
That's what I'm saying. General Garrison went to Somalia. I mean, he went back with 14 body bags.
No, done. Now, all these ones are not what. Go and look at the general who fought the Second World War.
Okay.
Go and check. I'm talking when I real war, not all these bandits and terror.
No, there's a change in nature of war. War takes different. In Iraq, how many soldiers did they lose? In Afghanistan, they cut and ran.
You don't choose the general to go and fight street fight or all this.
Okay, so Somalia war
it was real war. Are you getting what I'm saying? Real war. Maybe a state to a state. You don't mess up with them. So here, why are we in this mess up till now? Is it not because of the quality of our military? They cannot be able to combat this was up till now.
It's not the quality.
Some are selling their weapons to them.
It's not the quality. It's the politics of the military, not the quality of the soldiers.
That's what I'm telling you now.
The politics in the military.
All arms of security agencies. Okay, like now, this thing that they gave to Nuhu Rubadu. When they gave him that job, they said no, he's not qualified. I said it here. I said it. Going by his antecedents, he's just a police officer. That job is for tested military hands who have moved through the ranks. Do you understand this?
That's not correct.
Which one not correct? Okay, what is he doing with that job now? What is he doing? Since you want to support him, what is he doing with that job? That they even have to talk. They have to talk.
If I take a different position, you start supporting that person.
What I'm saying that let us.
Why is it that if somebody takes a different position, you think
he's supporting government?
No, we are having a conversation.
No. Are we fighting?
I said,
yeah, when you support something, you adduce your reason. You give us reason to prove that yes, you are not saying it because you want to say it.
You and I had this argument one day, and I told you that Condoleezza Rice, before she became Secretary of State to Bush to Bush II,
and I give you
was the National Security Advisor.
I gave you my
reason.
She
was just a professor of political science at Stanford.
I gave you my reason.
They
have institutions.
So why can't we build institutions?
You don't have it. Then bring men who will build it.
Now all the men like General Gusau, who was NSA, and all of Mungoni and all of that, if they were tested and tried, why didn't they build that institution?
Yes. There are no nonsense military persons. You and I know. They even know them. But they will never choose them.
I just mentioned General Gusau. I just mentioned Mungonu. These are retired generals that at one point were national security advisors. If they were tested and tried, why didn't they build that institution?
They did. The politics rubbish what they left behind.
Let's leave this conversation here. We'll pick it up some other time. Let's leave it here now. Let's go to what happened.
Before we go to the next thing, let me clear out something here. Disu was not a beneficiary of arbitrary promotion. He was never. As a matter of fact, he was senior to some of these DIGs. And do you know that there are some CPs that are even senior to some of these IGs? I mean DIGs.
Okay.
So Tunde Disu followed due process in his promotion and career. There was no time he was unduly promoted.
Okay, all right then. Well, thank you for clearing that up. Now let's go to another story. Armed thugs attack Obi Oyegun ADC members in Edo State. That's on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper, and we actually talked about we touched on it this morning, and we had Shadrach Dubai on the program. He said he was the compere of that event, and he gave his own side to the story. Now, given a right of reply, we have joining us this morning Dr. Patrick Ahere Bojele, who is the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Monday Okpebolo of Edo State. So, Dr. Patrick, good morning to you. Welcome to the conversation. Now, this is the headline. It's a good thing that we have you here. At least you can clear the air. Let's give you a right of reply. Now, talk to us. This is the headline. So, Nigerians have questions. But let's hear your take first.
Good morning for having me on the program. Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can. We can. Go right ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good morning for this opportunity to hear from our own side of the story. I think it's misleading and malicious in all contexts, because Edo State government nor is any organ of the state government has any responsibility to have contributed to what happened within the ADC as a party, which of course has already shown that is a party that cannot be in accordance with itself. It's already a crisis-ridden party. Leaders of the parties are attacking each other by verbally and even confrontationally. You can recall quickly that on Monday, just Monday here, just while we as a state government was making donation of 54 earth-moving machines to assist local government administration, the ADC held a congress or a meeting which already turned into violence within their own precinct. We saw reports from by a former chief whip of the Senate, the person of Senator Roland Uwe, who was accusing and bickering over the level of manner with which one of the leaders, a former governor of the state as well, former Chief John Odige Oyegun, shot them out of the meeting. It's in the public space. So what happened in ADC as a party in Edo State is internal politics.
Okay, you call it internal politics, but yes. The person you mentioned, Ovie, was at that meeting yesterday. But it was held at Odige Oyegun's house. And then yes. Did the internal politics, does it involve those that were having disagreement? Does it involve taking them out? Both parties?
Of course, we were not part of it. No, the point
okay, but the information available to you is that it was internal within the ADC.
Yes, that is the internal party. So what we are saying, they should settle the internal crisis within themselves, other than dragging the state government.
Is it not the responsibility of the government in a state to provide security to...
Obviously, it is the responsibility of the government of the state to provide security. Now, in time past, the government made mention of this say that it is imperative that when you have high personality visiting the state, you should at least let the necessary agencies of the state be aware that you are in the state or you have the business to do, so that security can be adequately provided. Mind you, even when you have protests, the police as an institution will tell you, give us notice that you intend to do street work so that we can adequately provide security for it. So it's a standard norm. Now, this issue that they are running from the fact that whatever has happened or purportedly that have happened to them has to do with them as a party. Of course, the state government has the responsibility, and the governor and the government of Senator Modokwe has been doing that seriously with the massive investment
Now,
in security.
This is newspaper review where we have, analysts give their own thoughts. I don't know if you can hear me. So, let's open up the conversation to everyone here. So let's just have this conversation. All right. Well.
Okay, yes, it's good that Patrick has brought this angle to it. I mean, refreshing our memory to what Mondo Bobolo, the governor of Edo State, said last year, when Peter Obi went to the net money.
And he said, July or thereabouts?
Yes. And he said, well, you don't come to my state except I give you permission. You take permission from me to come. And Patrick just reiterated it that the governor said, well, if you have a high-profile personality, coming into the state, it's important that you inform the governor so that he can provide security. And I would like for Patrick to tell us, Senator Adams Oshiomhole is high-profile personality. I wonder how often he takes permission, or he informs, what's his name, Mondo Bobolo, I'm coming to Edo State so that you provide me security. I know that there might be godfather and godson relationship, but beyond Adams Oshiomhole, when somebody like who probably a minister wants to come to Edo State or what on a personal or private visit, does he get that kind of security clearance from the governor? And is it appropriate for you to say?
Why is it peculiar to Edo State?
Why is it peculiar to Edo State? Why is it peculiar? Why did he have to single out Peter Obi? And there is this kind of coincidence, like our people say, a witch cried at night and a baby died in the morning, and people are trying to see some kind of connection between what he said and what happened yesterday. So how do you react to all of that? Oh, okay. Unfortunately, we have lost connection with him.
He's no longer there.
But he's no longer there.
But let's have your take. Yeah.
That means he's not ready to answer the questions.
No, let's.
No, it could be internet that took him out.
It could be the internet. Yes.
Please, he must come back so that we try this out.
Okay, Barrister, let's react to the story now.
Now, the thing is that whichever way you look at it, it is very bad. This is a pattern, and because the opposition.
But it's being blamed on ADC's internal.
No,
crisis. I mean that's what they're blaming it on. That's what.
But the question you asked him that Ovie, the man at the other side of the valley, was present there.
It can never be. They are just looking for an excuse. You and I know that. Look, I don't have patience when people want to play pranks with me. That is the problem I have. When somebody wants to play pranks, I don't have patience for it. You know what is obvious, and you are trying to divert my attention. For what? How can it be internal matter when it is always, whenever opposition are holding a meeting, some miscreants will be detailed to come and scatter the meeting. It happened in Lagos, it's happened in Kaduna, it's elsewhere. Just check. So how can that be internal matter? The one that happened in Lagos here, when there was driver and the people having Atalimosho here, was it internal matter?
All right.
Well, so these are issues.
We understand that we've reconnected with him. So you might want to ask a question.
Yes. Patrick, good to have you back. Now, I don't know if you listened to my take on that. Why will it be only a Peter Obi that the governor will say, before you come to my state, I need to give you permission because I cannot guarantee your safety. Peter Obi is just a citizen, just like I. If I'm coming into Edo State, I'm not high profile, must I get clearance from the governor? And so what it tells me is that while I'm in Edo State, the governor cannot even guarantee my safety because I didn't get permission from him. How do you react to that?
But I think that would be a great misconception on the intent of the governor to say that why is he only Peter Obi? Peter Obi is not the only personality that has entered Edo State in time past. But the question should be asked, why always when he comes to the state that there are issues of violence or violence-related areas? So this, we don't want to join so much in this conversation. But the point is that, yes, as chief security officer of the state, as the governor, the onus lies on him to provide security for everybody. And that he has been doing perfectly well or not perfectly.
Patrick, help us answer this question. It's only when Peter Obi comes to Edo State that there is violence in Edo State. We have cult-related activities in Edo State. It's been ongoing since Kwebolo became the governor. And it's only when Peter Obi comes to Edo State that there is violence. I would like for you to help us tell us
can I quickly
Patrick, hold on. I would like for you to help tell us which other state that Peter Obi went to and there was incidents of violence at the time that he was in that state.
I cannot speak to that, but for that of Edo State is what I am.
So then there must be a problem with Edo State. There must be a problem with Edo State.
I don't know. The same question. Same question we should all be asking. Why?
You can't answer the question. I'm asking you.
Talking about correlated. That is why I'm also asking. Why is it that each time he comes with teaching crisis issue?
So the issue is, why is it Edo State? Because he goes to other places. He doesn't go to problem with. He doesn't export problem to those states. Why Edo State?
You know that in the last 3 or 4 years, Edo State was, emerged in this crisis of court-related area. But within a year of inception of this administration, those issues are almost becoming thing of the past. You hardly can talk about courtism in Edo State. The governor has demonstrated serious commitment to ending unrest, to ending court-related areas. And so, I think that should be commended.
Oh, yes.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. We have our reporters there in Edo State, and they report incidents of courtism every other day, even in the last week.
I think that is also not correct, because if you visit the state, what you have is just wrong narrative about happenings in Edo State, and that is the misconception we are also trying to correct. That when the report about Peter Obi was shot at sporadically, where were the police? Yeah. Did he inform the party or his visitor? Did they not make provision for security architect to protect them?
That the DSS
so now the state is doing.
You understand that the DSS officials with them shot back and they were not giving police protection. But now the question I want to ask you is, have there been arrests made? Have you been able to identify the perpetrators of that crime? And have you made arrests?
I am not the commissioner of police in Edo State.
You're the chief press secretary.
I am the chief press secretary to the governor.
Yes.
Yes. And as a government, the responsibility of providing security for the welfare and safety of the citizens is paramount to that of the Senator Monday local-led administration. And investigation into security matters, I think, is owned by the Nigerian police in conjunction with other security agencies.
So you're not
of course, the state government is going to partner.
Arrested. You're not privy.
As I speak with you, sorry?
No, I'm asking, are you privy to any information of anyone being arrested?
As I speak with you, no. But I know that investigation is ongoing. Whatever has happened to destroy the peace and security of a place, police are there. People are taking inventory. And I think in due time or in days to come, more insight will be, thrown into what has happened. And we get to see the perpetrators of this very act.
All right, then. Well,
can we put it on?
No. Go ahead, Barrister Darlington.
No,
just react.
Okay,
you don't need to ask him a question.
What I want to say is this. When Obobele was launching his so-called tractors, he said that he was reported to have said that even though I'm small, but I'll use this bulldozer to bulldoze the houses of all these ADC court members.
Did he say ADC cult members?
ADC. He made
or cult members.
That was cult members.
No, he specifically mentioned ADC.
He said ADC.
Because I've not seen the video.
I said cult members, ADC cult. He was very specific. So my question is, how did he know that all the cultists in Edo State are from ADC? They belong to ADC as a party.
Well,
Then too, please let me add this. Because he said it's an internal matter. From the venue where they held the event, When they heard that these people were coming, they had to quickly round up and then move to Odiga's house. Good. They now went to that event. When they didn't see their target, they now threatened them to. Is that an internal matter? Okay. Because they should have been there at that event. So why did they threaten them to somebody's house?
Patrick, so let me ask this question now. Have you been able to identify?
Just cut me. Let me quickly respond.
Okay.
Please, if you can hear me, let me quickly respond to that comment. You know, when you say so-called, that means you are even acting on assumption. So-called event. Event was real. 54 earth moving machine was donated to local government administration for effective governance. So when you say the so, that means you are being opinionated here with due respect. Because the reality you begin to understand that politics is over. The reality on ground is that the state government is emphatic about delivering its electoral promises. Yes. And for us to be talking about is saying ADC, where is that coming from? Who gave you the analysis? And if the party, the ADC, is saying that they got information from where? Begin to analyze your information system. Okay, if you get information, who do you lodge it with? Is it with the state government?
Now have you identified cult members who are members of the ADC, cultists who are members of the ADC? Have you identified any of them?
Who are cult members of the APC?
ADC, I say, not APC.
Please, who are the cult members? Define them in APC. And when we begin to use this thing, because the media,
I think this will be the problem voters will have. They're trying to say ADC or APC.
ADC,
what
APC.
I said, my question was, have you been able to identify the cult members within the African Democratic Congress, ADC?
We don't have court members.
Okay, you don't have an APC.
There's none written on the forehead. For example, even with my PhD, it's not written on my forehead. So when we go about, even in the media space, to say APC talk member, PDP talk member, ADC talk member, sometimes the media should be, well informed by enlightening the people so that we don't become so gullible. The courtism, yes, is striving because previous government did not pay attention to it. But this administration has paid serious attention to it, that even on lawful gatherings, and the people are aware, the government has gone beyond policy making in this administration. This is full implementation, and Edo people are happy about what the government is doing. All of these things, I can tell you for free, is distraction, and is mischievous in nature by some of these elements to discredit this administration. And that's why in this latest, the governor himself personally signed a press release, which I'm sure your correspondent will give to you, to say he is focused on delivering. He has made electoral promises through the Shine agenda, which Edo people are seeing and experiencing. Edo is a hospitable place, safe for investment. Of course, Edo State is not secluded from the Nigerian architectural security problem. But yes, we are tackling them head on. We are making progress.
All right. Then.
We are yes, and the people are feeling it. All of these things, I think, is distraction, and the state government has nothing. The governor has said he welcomes everybody to enjoy the peace of this state.
Yes, and he was not going to rest. Of work to do. I think he has a lot of work to do because there's been a lot of conversation around those who may not see, those who disagree with the governor having issues, being beaten up. Remember the case of Pedro Obaseki? Mm-hmm. You know, there were conflicts between his stance, his position, and that of the governor, and we saw what happened.
Pedro, my brother, please, sir. You see, people should be able to distinguish between government and politics and private needs. What is the relationship between Edo State government and Pedro Obaseki and those who he claim assaulted them? None. But you see, if you don't drag in Senator Mondo Pebble into this narrative, you are not going to trend. For whatever reasons, I don't know. Yeah, that is the thing. But let us look at these things critically. I am a product of developmental studies, and you need to look at this route. We are so opinionated in these conversations when it comes to the actual thing. The real conversation should be, how far has this government fared comparatively, within a year, 2 months? But I would say for like 8 months, because for about 4 months, they were in litigation in the courts. But even at that, something was happening. I tell you now, my brother, the biggest or one of the biggest infrastructural developments taking place in Edo State, which is the first flyover that every Edo son and daughter has dreamt of, is happening there. Some persons will tell you it is AI generated because they just don't want to see the good thing that this man is doing. I don't know, but let us channel our energy.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I would have been more relaxed.
The government has a lot of work to do to
obviously
clean up its image, because people are saying, people are linking it to some of these issues happening in Edo State. But thank you very much.
Part of welcoming people, does it include what he said about if you are not wearing a particular dress or cap, you cannot.
The governor can choose to.
You cannot access.
That is the cabinet.
You cannot access.
That is his cabinet issue. I don't think
it's because it's his cabinet. He should.
It's part of welcoming everybody. Welcoming everybody. Are you trying to defend it?
No, I'm not defending it. It's his cabinet issue. It's
cabinet. No. He said he welcomed people. That's what he said. He welcomed everybody in Edo. So if you are not wearing that means you can you be welcome too?
In fact, you are welcome to Edo as we speak to you now, sir.
The way you welcome the people,
you can come and see the beauty of Edo. Edo is
Patrick, beauty of Edo. I was in Edo State the other time and I spent 4 hours in traffic. Is that the kind of welcome?
Yeah, because of the construction work.
Okay.
So we bear with you, bear with us on the gridlock, because Edo is a construction site. This is not. It's not an illusion. Honestly, your correspondent here should furnish you. I think they've been doing that. It is real. Yes. So it is not paperwork.
Moses did not allow him
Thank
to
you very
answer
much, Dr. Patrick.
You did not allow him to answer that.
Thank you very much. The Chief Press Secretary to Governor Monday Okwebolo of Edo State. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for having us. You are welcome to Edo State.
We will come to Edo State.
I won't come.
We will come to Edo State.
With what happened to
Barrister, you'll be secure. Don't worry. Your life is secure.
No, with what happened to Peter, I won't come.
Let us be opinionated about it. Peter B is not really. He's a citizen. Respected Nigerian by all standards.
Arrest those people. Arrest those people and prosecute them.
I think
we have to let you go. So
arrest them and prosecute them so that I know I'm safe.
We will do that. That will be done by the Nigerian police force.
Good. Arrest them.
There you go.
Certainly.
All right, so let's react to that headline and then maybe just touch on another headline here. INEC dismisses claims of result manipulation in FCT polls. That's reported by the Guardian newspaper. Gentlemen, there's also
I
don't like to hear this. They will never agree. Something that is obvious to everybody, including the
I'm just going to read out more headlines and then we can pick the ones we want to react to. Since we're coasting home now, we have barely 6 minutes left. More businesses go digital. Okay, I think I've taken that one before. ADC, Accord, others no deregistration fate, March 24. Federal government dragged to ECOWAS court over tax law alterations. And Dangote refinery to supply 65 million liters of PMS daily. All right, so that's from The Guardian. In case you want to touch on another daily, The Punch has these headlines. Oil revenue shakeup. States back Tinubu's executive order. Deri's COS cleared as Bayelsa deputy governor. Recapitalization. Banks raise 4 trillion naira ahead of March deadline. Federal government slammed as medical tourism hits $550 million annually. And yes, 395 million naira for e-transmission out of INEX 873 billion naira budget. I take that one again for emphasis. 395 million naira for e-transmission out of INEC's 873 billion naira budget. Gentlemen, there you have it.
From there, you discover that INEC is already planning to fail on e-transmission. If they have 870-something billion and they are earmarking less than half a billion naira to e-transmission, that means they are preparing to fail in that track. But again, I would like to take on the Guardian story. ADC, Accord Party orders know the registration fate in
March 24th.
March 24th. With what you see around politics, you know, the way institutions of government have been captured, I wouldn't be surprised if on
that
the 24th
ADC will be registered?
ADC will be deregistered, and there's nothing anybody will do about it. Yes. By the time the High Court deregisters it, you go to appeal court, the case will stay in appeal court. By the time it gets to the Supreme Court, the primaries, you know, the timeline for filing of candidates to INEC and all of that will have passed, and it will end there.
And you ask yourself, why did this?
No, I don't think that can happen.
Why are you saying this can happen?
I don't think that.
In Nigeria, anything can happen. We see these things happen.
No, ask yourself, why did they start this case? Why did they start this case now? Look at since ADC has been there. Look at since.
Why now?
It was deliberately timed.
And why is it that out of the number of political parties that applied to be registered, only 2 were given approval?
So that you can go
and
to
ADA, where article has. So if you put the bits and pieces together, you don't need to travel far to know that, well, on the 24th of March, you might just wake up and hear, oh, ADC has been registered as a political party. I see it coming.
That's the truth.
Oh, well. You have any?
Yes, Dele has something to
contribution.
Yeah, for me, this landmines has always been there. And I recall that early last year when this party was formed, I warned that it is better you solve. In fact, ADC shouldn't have been touched. Like just the same way SDP was picked initially. You see, there are some landmines. Like apart from this deregistration, what about this case that is still pending in court about the people that claim to be the owners of that party before Senator David Marks' executive came into the party? So it's still fraught, and that's why you see people decamping to APC. It's not that they like APC. If you ask them, it is just because they are afraid that this thing can burst at the end of the day. And just like Chukuma said, and maybe too late in the day for you to retrace your steps. I think what ADC people in ADC should do now to forestall all of this is to find a way of getting a party that has no blemish or anything.
Is there any party?
That is what I wanted to say.
No, for instance, if somebody like Showore, who believes in coalition, can allow AAC is still there.
But
you know, my fear.
Showore believes that Atiku is a fraud. Showore believes that P2B is a fraud, so he cannot apparently admit them into his party.
Yeah, but there are some parties that are in ICU.
Okay,
that don't
that
have
can resurrect.
this issue. That
the
can,
moment,
can resurrect.
so those parties,
just like the way they resurrected
that are in ICU. When you go there now, you discover that they have internal problems.
They have internal issues.
And those issues will now...
The party that does not even have any showing at all. Which kind of internal problem?
Did you ever believe that ADC will have this kind of problem? Even SDP?
SDP has always had... SDP had problems.
ADC's issues are kind of surprising. Really.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but if you talk about the resolution of this problem, now I think the Supreme Court judgment about the internal affairs of a political party should have taken care of the internal problems of the ADC. So I think the people that don't want ADC on the ballot, they have known that if they go to court, Supreme Court will say, well, it's the internal party affair. So they are going through the route of the registration. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the records of INEC, I'm not sure that ADC has met, that threshold to remain a political party. But the question is, why come up now? ADC has always been there. Because you have to win a certain number of seats, a certain percentage of votes.
25%.
At the federal, state, and local government level to remain. Yes. But in that case, it's not only ADC and the other Accord that will be affected. A whole lot more political parties will be affected.
All right, then. This will be a good place to anchor the conversation. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Mr. Darlington Agumo, a lawyer and a public affairs commentator. Delefanimo, reporter, also public affairs commentator. And we had Patrick Bojele with us from Edo State, try to clear the air there. But Chukwuma Okoro makes a comeback later tonight at 6 p.m. on Political.
Yes, and talking about SDP, I'll be joined by the former presidential candidate of the party, Barrister Adewale Adebayo. Yes, the SDP presidential candidate. He will be my guest on my show, 6 o'clock. Join us, it promises to be quite interesting.
All right, then there you have it. And that's it on the show today. Make a comeback tomorrow, God willing. I'm Moses Humphrey. Bye for now.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy. Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging 1-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpillon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please discuss.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
When I first heard VOP, I thought they were talking about me because I'm a voiceover personality. But no, this is Voice of the People TV, and you are riveted forever because this is the place to be.
You guys, your boy Chela. Shout out to VOP TV. I love you guys.
Salut tout le monde, Suspect 95, là on est sur VOP TV. On passe un bon temps.
J'espère que vous kiffez. On est au Afrima. On est ensemble. VOP TV.
Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy. VOP, you don't know Stoneware from Ghana representing live and living color. Yeah, Beam Nation President. Outside with it. Bless up.
Hello, this is Milo from Ivory Coast. Keep watch Voice of the People TV. Regardez la voix du peuple, la télévision de la voix du peuple. Que Dieu vous bénisse. À très bientôt. Love you so much.
Hi guys, what's up? This is Gaze Baba. I am watching VOP TV. Usually you be told to not touch the dial, but I tell you to touch the dial and increase the volume. You're like, keep it locked. It's Afro Gospel. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shego Aronzo. You're watching VOP. Don't change the dial.
My Joe, fine girl. My Joe, fine babe. Only are you, but on the Fuji Monsu. Yes, don't touch the dial. This is me, Dr. Adiwala Iba. Keep watching VOP TV.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.